Good evening everyone and welcome to another TSW&SD Cyclone video update tonight, the 9th of March 2014. My name is Nathan and tonight we're going to be talking about Tropical Cyclone Gilliam and the tropical low that's sitting out in the Coral Sea. So firstly, having a look at the cyclone forecast track map for Tropical Cyclone Gilliam. And we can see that right here at 4 p.m. on March the 9th, that's 4 p.m. This afternoon, Tropical Cyclone Gilliam was a Tropical Cyclone Strength 1. And as we go into Monday morning at 4 a.m., we can see that she is continuing to take a southeasterly direction towards the western peninsula area, and as we continue into Monday afternoon, we can see that she's still a Category 1 just off the coast of Cape Kowewe. And then here on Tuesday morning, it intensifies into a Category 2 cyclone, but then starts developing a south to southwest direction. Quickly then intensifying here on Tuesday afternoon, March the 11th at 4 p.m. into a Category 3 cyclone, and then developing this south to southwesterly direction, still as a Category 3 on Wednesday morning, and then on at 4 p.m. on March the 12th, which is 4 p.m. Wednesday, still a Category 3, but is heading towards the Northern Territory and Queensland border towards Port MacArthur. Now we have a look at the tropical cyclone forecast track map for the tropical low that's out in the Coral Sea. And here on this afternoon at 4 p.m. this system was still considered a tropical low, and just off the coast there between Innisfail and Cardwell. Coming into 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, so that's 4 a.m. Monday morning, it is expected to still be a tropical low, and just sits there for a little while just off the coast there of Lucinda. And then by 4 p.m. Monday afternoon, it's expected to intensify into a Category 1 cyclone. And then it is expected to adopt a northeasterly track back out into the Coral Sea as a Category 1 cyclone. 4 a.m. Tuesday morning there, sitting off the coast of Innisfail. And then by 4 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, it's expected to have de-intensified into a tropical low pressure system once again, still heading in that northeasterly direction. And then at 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning, going to be a tropical low system continuing in its northeasterly direction. And then 4 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon, it's expected to be right out past the 150 mark, and still a tropical low system. Okay, if we have a look now at the rainfall or the projected rainfall over the next few days. And here we are on Monday, so this is tomorrow, and we can see that there is still quite a lot of rainfall down here on the Whitsundays kind of area, maybe further down towards the Rockhampton type way, expecting there falls of between 25 and 50 millimeters. Up in the Gulf, we can see that right around Tropical Cyclone Gilliam's centre, quite a lot of rainfall. It is hitting the coast, but not as much as what is at its centre, of course. But right here on the western peninsula coastline, we can see between 15 and 25 millimeters of rainfall. Now, if we have a look into Tuesday, and we can see that most of the rain activity that was hitting the Queensland coast has pretty much dried up, now just getting very low rainfall figures indeed. Up in the peninsula area around Lockhart River, sort of, and south of that down to about Cairns, we can see that there is still quite some good falls happening up there. Tropical Cyclone Gilliam still up here in the Gulf. Its centre has moved closer to the coast, therefore there is an increase in shower activity there on the west coast of the peninsula. On to Wednesday now, and we can see that some shower activity has returned here to the north tropical coast here in Queensland. If we just take a bigger view of that, and we can see sort of Tully, Ingham sort of area expecting some falls, maybe as far north as Innisfail. Over here, Tropical Cyclone Gilliam continues to produce some rainfall here for that Gulf district, and places like Burketown and Normington could be expecting some good rainfall here on the Wednesday. Now, if we look here into Thursday, and we can see that there's a centralized area of good rainfall happening around in the Innisfail down to the Tully region, maybe just south there of Cairns as well. And Tropical Cyclone Gilliam, as it starts to track in that westerly or southwesterly direction, takes its rainfall with it, but still places such as Normington, Burketown, Mornington Island, Kaiwanama, still expecting some good rainfalls there from that system on the Thursday. Now, if we have a look at days 13, or from the 13th of March through to the 16th of March, and we can see that still quite a lot of heavy rainfall here happening in the Gulf district because of Tropical Cyclone Gilliam. That rainfall is expected to be mostly offshore. Still some falls happening here around in that Tully, Innisfail sort of region, maybe Cairns as well. If we look now over for the 8-day period, and we see some good falls happening here on that Whitsundays, Lower Burdekin type region, and some good falls here because of Tropical Cyclone Gilliam. If we now have a look at the satellite imagery brought to us by the Bureau of Meteorology, and well, what we can see here is in this area here, we can see that there is a swirling type action that is happening because of that tropical low pressure system. So just sitting off the coast here of around about Townsville, maybe the Ayr sort of region, but that's practically around about where that low pressure system is sitting at the moment. Tropical Cyclone Gilliam causing a lot of cloud and swirly cloud action happening over here, just up the top there near Weipa, just off the coast of Weipa. Having a look now at the sea surface temperature for these two systems, and we can see that pretty much where Tropical Cyclone Gilliam is situated, which is around in this area here, we can see that we've got some reds, some dark reds, light reds, so very, very favourable conditions there for Tropical Cyclone Gilliam. It's these yellowy, orangey type colours down here that we don't want because they are showing a cooling of the ocean temperatures, but cyclones like this colour up here. For that tropical low that is off the coast there of Townsville, sort of around in this kind of area here, we can see that the same, we've got those orangey, reddish type colours there for that cyclone as well. Let's take a look now at the relative humidity levels for these cyclones. And again, we've got tropical cyclone Gilliam sitting sort of in this region here. We can see that there's light blues, dark blues in that area, which is showing really, really good humidity levels for that system. It's this purple stuff that we don't want. Speaking of that purple stuff, if we have a look at where this tropical low is in off the Coral Sea, we can see that it's in that area there. It's still got a lot of moisture with it, but we can see that there is this purple stuff, so this drier air that looks as if it could be wrapping or trying to wrap itself around the system. At the moment, the system still has all this moisture coming in here, feeding off the monsoon trough that's just raging up through this area here. But this dry air is trying its darnest to try and wrap around this system, and if that happens, then folks, it's all over for that system. And perhaps that's what the Bureau of Meteorology might be saying with their forecast track map, that as this system continues to move in that northeasterly type direction, then this dry air here may actually start to affect it and effectively kill the cyclone. So let's now have a look at where these models are saying that tropical cyclone Gilliam is going to go. And we are just going to look at tropical cyclone Gilliam because the models aren't really picking up the system that's out in the Coral Sea at the moment. And well, what we can see is that the deterministic run, which is the one that is most likely, where most of the models are saying that this system is going to go, puts the system heading towards the western coast of the peninsula, and then either making landfall or just before it makes landfall, it then starts adopting this south to southwesterly direction and making landfall over in the Northern Territory region. We do have this green line, which some models are saying could also be a possible track for the cyclone, but it's not considered to be as favourable as what the red line is. Of course, we've got our outlying models, which put the system heading further into the Northern Territory, and also we've got some models like this one here, which says that it's going to cross the peninsula and cross over out into the Coral Sea. But again, they are major outliers on the models for this one. If we have now a look at the BOM's axis model, and what we can see is here's our tropical cyclone Gilliam sitting off the coast there of the Western Peninsula District, and it's not really going anywhere in a real hurry. It's just sort of meandering around there in the Gulf, and then looking into about Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, it starts to make a bit of a move on and hits into this Northern Territory section. Now, if we have a look at the low out in the Coral Sea, here it is right here. It's kind of just sitting there, not really doing a lot. It does start to kind of intensify on Tuesday, but by that time it has started to adopt that north-easterly direction. And then come Wednesday night, Thursday morning, pretty much the system is just washed out, and that's the last that we see of it. So let's now look to see what the the Euro, is saying about where this tropical cyclone Gilliam is going to go and where she's going to head. If we have a look now around Sunday evening, Monday morning, we can see that the system just grazes this western coast of the peninsula. Into Tuesday morning, it's sitting down here in the Gulf region, and then come Tuesday night, it started to adopt that southwesterly direction. So it's not really making that landfall until it's crossed over, probably somewhere around that Port MacArthur, I think it was called, that sort of area. Anyway, fairly close to the Northern Territory and Queensland border. Now, if we have a look at the low that's expected to, or is that out in the Coral Sea, and here we can see it Monday morning. It's still just off the coast there of Queensland, but it has already started adopting that north-east to northerly sort of track away from the Queensland coast, and is no longer expected to impact the coast any longer. So that's the last that we'll see of that system. Okay, so what is the GFS saying about that tropical low that is out in the Coral Sea? Well, it's saying that here in Sunday night, it's just sitting off the coast there around the Townsville area. It's just doing its own thing, doing a bit of a stalling action, and then on Monday or Tuesday morning, we can see that it's starting to head into that northeasterly type direction, and again, like the euro, that's the end that we see of that system. If we now have a look at the euro and what it's predicting for us in rainfall, firstly for tropical cyclone Gilliam up here in the Gulf districts. So Sunday at 9 o'clock, it's saying that a lot of its moisture is to the west or the south northwest region of the system. If we now go through until Monday morning, and we can see that still a lot of the moisture from the system is still to its west area, and then as we come into Monday afternoon, we can see that the moisture from this system has made a bit of an impact on the land area, but still a lot of it is still to its western area. Then if we come into Tuesday morning, and we can see that that the moisture from this system actually starts to be on its southern side as it then heads down the coast of the peninsula, and we can see that a lot of its rainfall activity has hit landfall simply because its moisture or its rainfall activity has moved to the southern side of the system, as it then makes landfall and heads into the Northern Territory area, taking a lot of its moisture with it. Okay, now for the eastern coast of Queensland, we have a look at what this tropical low is going to bring for us rainfall-wise, according to the Euro model. And here we can see at 9 o'clock this morning, that's 9 o'clock Sunday, that there was quite a lot of rainfall activity to the southern side of this system, and just offshore there of Bowen. But it was wide enough spread that it was actually getting onto that Bowen coastal area. Now, if we go through to Monday morning, and what we can see is that it's still just that patchy, light, showery type stuff that's persisting over there in the Mackay, Bowen, probably Ayr sort of region. Then if we go through to Monday afternoon, and we can see that well, this system has taken a lot of its rainfall with it. It's sort of taken its bat and ball and said, well, I'm going home, and has taken a lot of the moisture with it. It is still producing some patchy type light rain here along the coast, pretty much right up and down the eastern coast of Queensland, but it is very light and it is very patchy. If we have a look now through to Tuesday morning, and we can see that again, it's still this light patchy rain. Cairns not expecting anything whatsoever Tuesday morning, but still just this light patchy rain. And just to have a look Tuesday afternoon, and we can see that pretty much a lot of the rainfall has disappeared off that Herbert and Lower Burdekin area, and is now sort of gone further north, up into the Ingham and Innisfail, Cairns region, and further north. Well, folks, that's all we have time for tonight. So thank you for watching. Our next Cyclone video update is going to be sometime tomorrow evening, depending on what happens with the system in the Coral Sea and Tropical Cyclone Gilliam. We'll update you tomorrow evening. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to support our work that we do here for you, please take the time to show your appreciation by donating to us through our PayPal link, or by clicking on our PayPal tab under our cover photo on our Facebook page. So thank you for watching. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the rain event that we were hoping that it would be, but again, that's what cyclones they do. They're very unpredictable, especially when they're out there in the Coral Sea. So thanks for watching again, and good night.